Welcome to Yoga with Liza. This is night 40. This is, to me, feeling like a very sacred night. I'm going to send out some invitations. It's a cold and rainy night here in Pennsylvania. I am asking that we bring flashlights for our kids section so that we can light up our life and have some fun. The essential oil of the night is cypress. And I chose cypress because cypress in its own way is a very sacred oil. Cypress is also in Jane Buckle's book, she states that cypress can be used as an antiviral. And I find it interesting that even in the plant kingdom, plants are very... Hi Gary, good to see you. Laura, good to see you. Dorothy, good to see you. So continuing on with cypress in the early part here. So cypress oil, while we're waiting for 7:30 and everybody to sign on, and if you don't have a cushion, because we're going to do some meditation tonight, and maybe have your flashlight for your laser beams for the kids section, and maybe have a drink of water or a cup of tea. I think those are the things that you need to bring for the mat tonight. And then, okay, so back to cypress. It's a tree. It's a perennial tree. Conchoidal shape, 28 meters to 80 feet high, and originally from the east. Mostly found in gardens, cemeteries in the Mediterranean region. And there's a Greek mythology related to the cypress tree. I did not Google that, but it's about somebody who lost something and they were so sad that Zeus turned them into a cypress tree so that they would stand guard over the cemetery. The Greeks used it to carve statues of their gods out of the cypress tree, where it's used to be, and the legend says the cross of Jesus had been made of cypress wood, and the tree generally seems to be associated with death. Well, and you're saying, okay, so why are you bringing it up? Well, it's also a good antiviral. It helps with varicose veins. It helps with the nervous system. Is antibacterial, is an astringent. It can be a decongestant. It's a good one to help us breathe well. Is another reason for cypress right now. Cypress is also a really good deodorant. And so when I was working and wearing my sneakers during the day, now that I teach yoga, I go barefoot. But Dorothy will remember when I was working in the ER, something shifted and, you could smell my feet through the sneakers. Well, I started wearing my oils on my feet and it started helping the feet smell better so I could take my socks off. So when I say I use oils on my feet, I put a drop on the side of the feet and then I rub my feet together like this so I'm not getting it on my hands, so I'm not touching my face. And so, we're not supposed to touch our face, right? But I can rub the oils on my feet like this, and then when I put my socks on, to put my shoes on, and I have really cool socks tonight. Thank you, Kathy. My friend Kathy gave them to me quite some years ago, but they're incredibly warm. And I love all the colors. I just love all the colors. And since it's a rainy day, I'm wearing lots of colors. I've got my purple, my pink, my gold. So, just a little bit more about Cyprus, and then at 7:30 when we have the kids sign on. So I brought the Jane Buckle book, but you won't believe me, it's on page 199. And I brought my Valerie Ann Warwood book, and I will get back to something here. But in her book, Aromatherapy for the Soul, Cyprus is often associated with the passing of a soul into the deity's presence, bringing comfort to those left behind, who will continue to hold their loved ones in their hearts. Cyprus has frequencies that are in transition between the physical and the spiritual, which is why it can be used to assist in the passing of a spirit. Cyprus has the ability to connect strongly with human frequencies and thought forms. With great direction, Cyprus helps connection with the wisdom of the universe. So tonight we're doing meditation, and I put my Cyprus on my feet to help me connect to that wisdom of the universe. It emphasizes with suffering and energies the magnetic form of life and sorrow. It offers strength and energetic protection to those who need protecting, and to those who are feeling vulnerable and insecure or have lost their purpose. Cyprus can be used for moving on. So Cyprus can support us through an awful lot of transitioning. And when I say support us, just because we're using an oil, we still have to do the work. We still have to go through the poses and the movement in the meditation to allow ourselves to let go of that which no longer serves us and to move on if we're using it to support us in a time of sorrow. So, very quickly in the aromatherapy world, there are those who believe that every essential oil has to be diluted in a carrier oil, coconut oil, almond oil, jojoba oil, and so on, and diluted out, because if you put it directly on your skin, it would be too toxic. And then there are some who say, no, why would we put it in a carrier oil? The molecules in the carrier oil are bigger than the molecules in the essential oil. So we're going to impede the absorption of that into our skin. And Ayurvedically, everything that we put on our skin or in our eyes, we should be able to eat, because our skin is our biggest organ and in protecting the body. So then there's other schools that say, well, some you can put straight on your skin and some you can't. And so if you're interested in learning more about oils, I'm going to be signing on a little bit early every night and teaching a little bit about a different essential oil every night. So now it's the kids' time. It's 7:30, and I hope that all of my kids have their flashlights. If you don't have your flashlights, run and get your flashlights, guys. Okay, so this is a book that I gave my teenage sons, 10, 20 years ago. The Meaning of Life by Bradley Trevor Grieve. And so I was flipping through here, sons, and now grandsons, and I will read through the list in a moment. But what caught my eye on page 30, the only theme that resonates throughout the numerous popular life theories is love. Love in all its fragile forms is the one powerful, enduring force that brings real meaning to our everyday lives. So I'm going to read that again at the end of practice in case you missed it. And I got my love up there, and my love helps me be happy. So, kids, we're going to do our warrior poses. I got a new flashlight, Wyatt. It's bleeping. Yes, I'll bring it. I'll save it for you on the refrigerator, okay? So, we're going to come through our warrior poses. I have my blinking flashlight and my steady flashlight. And the cat's not even jumping. Whew. Luna must be tired. I guess I wore her out. So, coming from here, let's do our warrior poses. So I'm going to bring my right foot forward, my left foot back, and I'm going to come into warrior one. And I'm going to bring my arms up overhead. So I have my lightsaber just like in Star Wars. And because, right, good always wins. And then we're going to bring our hands out. Love always wins. Feel our cactus arms, so we're getting a good stretch. And we're going to bring our arms back up, and we're going to step forward with the left foot and step back with the right foot. And I've got my sweater on today because when I sit down, I cool off, so I'm holding my light swords up overhead. And I'm going to come back down into cactus arms. And then I'm going to inhale and bring my light swords back up. Now I'm going to open into warrior two. And I've got my light swords and a big stretch. And then I'm going to bring my right arm forward, bring that back up. And as I step up into warrior three, my light swords are killing the ego within me. Inhale, coming back up. Open back into warrior two. Straighten the left leg. Bring the right leg around. And feel our warrior two on the other side. And grown-ups, you may come through the warriors with us. And then gently bring that arm back around. Pick up that back foot and pop up. And coming back into warrior three. And maybe your lightsabers are coming straight out in front. And breathing into it. And bring that left leg back to the mat. And bring our hands to heart center. Now we're going to turn the flashlights off so that the animals don't go crazy. That one has a lot of different flashy settings. And come back to center. Bring our hands into heart center. And as we inhale up, then when we exhale, we're going to let out a long Om. Wait. Before we do that, bend our knees, bring our heels together, come on down, Bring our hands to the mat. Now bring our hands all the way back around. And we're going to stick out our tongue and we're going to do lion's breath roar. And again, lion's breath roar. And again, one more time, great big inhale. Lion's breath roar. And then bring our knees back in together. And bring the heels to the mat and feel our gentle forward fold. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time, bringing our hands back overhead. Now bring our hands back into heart center. All right, so we're going to inhale up and we're going to do Om. We're going to make some noise. Ready? Inhale. Bring the hands in. Ready? Inhale up. And one more time. Inhale up. Feeling the vibration. Close our mouth and just go. So feel the vibration coming up. Okay, Ricky, this one's for you. Luna's in the way. So I'm going to cross my legs. Ready? And we're going to sit down onto the mat. I have my cushion underneath, so it's a soft landing. And then, since she stole the blanket, I'm going to take the pillow. And since we're going to be sitting for some time, I am going to start out using the pillow. And you'll see that it's going to come out from behind. So, kids, we're not quite finished yet. We're going to do the I am home meditation. And this is the I love you mudra. Okay, ready? Bring our hands in. Or bring them down by your side. It's up to you. You can bring them up and around, or you can keep them down by your side. And great big inhale in. I am home. And for my musician friends out there, now you understand why I'm not allowed to sing. With my hearing issue, I'm not so good at staying on key. Take another great big inhale in, but practice makes perfect. Let's do I am home. Great big inhale. I am home. One more time. Great big inhale in. I am home. Bringing our hands to heart center. Think of 3 things that you're grateful for. Grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my grandchildren. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for all of their cousins. Henry, where's your head? Where's your eyes? Your nose? Your mouth? Mwah! Kisses to Henry, and I love you. To Ricky, Wyatt, Angelo, Cora, Jace, Jason, Jensen. Where's my card with all of my kids' names? I cleaned myself up too well. Kyra, Manny, Emrys, Carson, and you all know who the rest of you are. So I don't quite have the list completely memorized, which is why I have it written down. So moving from the kids section into the adult section, and I've had several people who have said to me, how do you meditate? I need to meditate. I want to be calmer, more centered. Many, many different things. And so the answer is very different for everybody. And so what we've been doing for the last 40 nights, for those of you who have been here for the 40 nights, and maybe some of you joined in after or in the past few nights, and I'm going to keep doing this as long as the gyms are closed, and then I will be picking one night a week, and we'll continue that night, or it may be an afternoon, we'll see. But I will one day a week be doing a live video, and then all of the videos are now being uploaded onto YouTube. And my YouTube channel is Liza Beasley. So if you don't want to scroll all the way through the page, you can go to YouTube, plug in Liza Beasley, and all the videos will pop up. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit the like button. Okay, so there's my self piece. In yoga, okay, we have the 8 limbs of yoga. Yoga is, the 8 limbs are described as looking like a tree. And I have those posted on different pages that you can find. In the 8 branches, we have the yamas, which we've started reviewing through some of the classes. Ahimsa is nonviolence, or being kind and loving to ourselves. Satya is non-lying, or being truthful with ourselves. Asteya is non-stealing, or being giving to ourselves. And Brahmacharya is the non-pursuit of lust or desire, or can be looked at as being mindful of our energy, and how are we spending our energy with ourselves. Aparagahara is non-greed, which we'll be looking at next week. The niyamas are the dues. Satya is purity. Santashya is contentment. Tapas is self-discipline. So teaching every night for me is part of my tapas. It's part of my self-discipline that I choose to share with all of you. Savadhariya, self-study. Ishvar Pradharina is devotion. So all of the yamas are one. All of the niyamas are two. Number 3 are the asanas, the different poses that we go through on the mat. Number 4 is prana. Okay, so Prana is our life force that we bring into our bodies. Life force is in 2 parts. Pranayama is the breath, our breathing exercises that we do. Pranayama, well, okay, I'll back, just let me finish getting through these. And then prana, life force, that we put in and on our bodies, okay? So this bottle of cypress is the concentrated life force, steam distilled essence out of the tree. And so when I put this life force on my feet, I'm enhancing the life force throughout my whole body. Now, on the flip side, if I was to spray my feet with whatever foot powder, antifungal spray, what kind of life force am I putting on there? The aerosol, then that, anyway. So that's for a different class. The foods that we eat. Are we eating plant-based, healthy life force, lots of chlorophyll in the plants, eating our green life force from the sun? And yes, I still eat meat. Less than I used to, but there are days when I say I need my meat. I want my meat. Number 5, I started talking about this last night. Pratyahara is detachment. And so true detachment is when we can look at a situation without emotion coming up into our bodies, without feeling something in our guts or our heart. And so detachment allows us to see things for what they are. You know, there's the common day saying of it is what it is. Is it good? Is it bad? Well, or it just is. And so when you can get to the point of it just is, then we've reached true detachment. 6, dharana, concentration, and I'm going to leave that for another day. And then we come to number 7, meditation, dhyana, which is what we're going to work on tonight. And then number 8 is pure consciousness, samadhi. So I think the first time I saw this was in a fortune cookie. And it says, wise men said, before enlightenment, I chopped wood and I carried water. After enlightenment, I chopped wood and I carried water. And I looked at that and I went, I don't chop wood. My sons chop the wood. Now I split my wood. I don't chop it. I heat my house with a wood stove. and I've been here for 20 years. I've carried a lot of wood. My parents had a well, and my kids now have a well. And so I would carry water from my parents' house originally. They had a good well, because I have city water and I have chlorine in my water, and I can't stand the way it smells or tastes. So I was carrying water, especially when I first moved into the house, because I was raised on well water. No chlorine, no fluoride, no Clorox in my water, Oops. Okay, so I carried wood, I carried water, and that fortune cookie was 15 years ago. And one day I went, oh, I get the fortune cookie. And not that enlightenment is a magical thing and all of a sudden you say, oh, I'm enlightened. But through making the ritual of picking up the wood and carrying it in the bucket and being very mindful of what I was doing, I was turning that into a moving, mindful meditation. And so instead of being grumbly, oh, somebody else should be doing this for me, or, what was I thinking, heating with a wood stove, I was grateful. I was smelling the fresh air on my face. I could smell the wood. I could smell the earth. And it became meaningful to be stacking this wood and carrying it and bringing it into the house. Okay, so that brings us to styles of meditation. And I have 6 books that are here, another 3 books that are upstairs, and probably in all of these yogi books, okay, in the Sutras of Pranayama, it tells us how to go through all of these 8 steps in meditation to reach samadhi. So, that being said, we've been sitting for a long time. Just gently, if your legs are crossed, stretch them out in front. Let's do a gentle circle one way, and then a gentle circle back around the other way. Bring the arms up overhead. Gentle forward fold. Breathing into it. Doesn't matter how far forward, and you can do this in a chair. Inhale, bring the arms back up. Exhale, bring the hands over to the side. Inhale, bring the arms back up. Exhale, bring the hands over to the other side. Coming back to center. Maybe recrossing an easy cross leg. And so for our first meditation, we're going to work with the breath. And we're simply going to inhale a 4 count and exhale for a 4 count. And we're going to do that 4 times. So gently inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. 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 Continuing with your 4 count inhale and your 4 count exhale as I read. And I wrote this in 2008 and I still use it. I've used it before in our classes. Expectations, as defined by the Macmillan Dictionary for Children, which to expect, to look forward to. He expects to get a new bicycle for his birthday, to want something because it is right or necessary. The teacher expected an apology from the rude child. 3, to think, suppose. I expect he won't be coming to school because he has a cold. The act of expecting. Today, try letting go of expectations, to be in the moment, to feel the breath, and not having expectations. We do not have to judge. If something or someone meets our expectations, then we could, or some might say they are good. And if someone does not meet our expectations, then we may label them as bad. By doing this, we are limiting ourselves and maybe missing the lesson. We are meant to learn from them. By letting go of expectations, we are open, a blank page, ready to learn, experience the moment for what it is, a breath at a time. And continue breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Gently, mindfully opening your eyes, coming back into the room, back into this here and now. becoming aware of the breath. So, with the kids, how are you feeling? Send me a little blip. Was that nice and calm? Feeling relaxed? Maybe for a moment we weren't thinking about anything. So you're getting the idea. There's as many different ways to meditate as there are leaves on the trees. However, some steps for successful meditation. Choose a quiet room. Turn off your cell phone. Sit comfortably. Make sure that you're warm. I wore my sweater tonight. I still have my space heaters on because this is downstairs. The fire's upstairs. Begin with some deep breathing. Let your mind relax. Use the muscles of your body about 3 to 5 minutes. After your body feels relaxed, look at your watch and decide for how long you want to meditate. So a good time if you're on your own is about 15 to 20 minutes, which allows your body to get into that place where there's no thought. And then if a thought comes back, you go back to the mantra. And if you aren't using a mantra, then you go back to the breath. So then you close your eyes and let your eyes rest on your third eye, which is like right in the middle of your forehead. And your eyes come up and you look into the middle of your forehead. And looking in, then you do the I-E-M mantra, or I've changed that for the kids to the I am home. Or you can use I am or Om, any number of mantras, but this helps get the vibration of the upper chakras going. Everything that we do in life is the lower chakras, eating, drinking, so forth. So this helps raise our vibration. And so you do the mantra out loud 3 times and make a really loud vibration. First is the loudest, and then softer and softer, and then say the vibration into your head. You can also use Om or I am. So like I said, I changed this into the I am home. And then you let your breathing fall off naturally. If you think a thought, then you come back to the mantra. So if you're floating in space and having no thoughts and just floating like you're floating on a cloud, and that's all that there is, and then you say, hey, I did it, I'm here. Up, there's your thought. Go back to the mantra, Om or I am. So what this is describing is a way of transcendental meditation. And let your breathing fall off so that it goes on automatic pilot, like we do in Savasana. If you think, you always come back to the mantra. One of the thoughts will be, I wonder what time it is. Look at your watch. If you still have time left, go back to the mantra or the clock on the wall, however you're judging time. And when you're finished meditating, let your eyes continue to rest in the darkness, and notice how the breathing has become, and notice how the consciousness feels inside the body. In silence, inside, turn your thoughts to something positive that you would have liked to have happen in your life. Visualize that this is happening, and then that it has happened. Be grateful for the wonderful gift that the universe has given you. Take some deep breaths and slowly open your eyes. Smile to yourself. Let's smile. That's for you, Patty. Slowly go back to your life. Some other things, some benefits of meditation is it reduces stress. It gives the body a deep rest. We move towards universal consciousness. It gives the mind peace and inner strength. Creates more reaction time. So as we learn to meditate with that allows us in everyday life to be detached. So if we don't have this rush of emotion that makes us, that we can allow to influence us to do things that we might not otherwise do or say, if we can stay detached from that emotion, then we can make smarter decisions, better choices that will serve us in our life path. No, do not set the alarm clock. Do not eat a big meal before meditating. So if we eat a big meal, we're going to feel our stomach grumbling and hear the noises. And so that's going to disrupt our calm. And so before a yoga practice with the asanas, which some people make into a moving meditation, you don't want to have a big meal in your stomach because things will come up and come down. So with some clarity here in eastern Pennsylvania, a couple people had told me that they heard on the news today that the gyms were reopening tomorrow. And so I just received clarification that's in Georgia, not Pennsylvania. I haven't turned on the news today. And so was just making sure that I didn't need to be at work at 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to going back to my classes in the gym and seeing everybody face to face. Okay, so with the I am home mantra, and if you're seated, you can take a deeper breath to say the mantra. And I'm going to do this meditation for about 5 minutes tonight, because what I'm doing is a gentle sampling of different types of ways to meditate. So taking a great big inhale in, I am home. Again, I am home. Gently taking a great big inhale in, wiggling your fingers and toes, stretching the arms up overhead, bring the arms all the way out and around, bringing the knees into our chest, giving ourselves a hug. Gently releasing the feet out onto the mat. Maybe you bring them straight out in front. Let them go from side to side. Breathing into it. Well, that was an interesting move, little kitty. Yes. She did her little stretch. She stood up and did her little twist around and came back down onto the mat. So, again, maybe you type in and you let me know how you're feeling with some comments. I know that there are quite a few people who practice Reiki who are watching. I also know that there are some very devout Catholics who are watching. And so even though these forms of meditation are not necessarily within the yogic realm, saying the rosary is a meditation. Saying the prayers of the rosary, and Ethel, forgive me, I don't know the rosary prayers well enough to do that in a class at the moment. And it's interesting, the mala beads have 108 beads. The mala beads are the yogic beads that are used for counting when doing 108 sun salutations and different prayer bead mantras. And the rosary has 108 beads all the way around by the time you go through and say all of the different prayers. Some people believe that the prayer beads came from India and were assimilated into European culture and made into the rosary. The Catholic belief is that the rosary was a gift from the Blessed Mother, and there's a whole sacred ritual that goes along with that. For my Reiki students, there's a Gashu meditation, and that, like the vibration of the I-E Om, bringing us into the meditation. Now when I teach Reiki, the precerts I teach in Japanese, because the sing-song incantation of saying the precerts in Japanese helps bring in the energy, which helps the body come deeper into meditation. And in Gakko meditation is when we bring our hands to prayer, into prayer center. So some versions have our hands at our third eye. Some versions have us bringing our thumbs into our chest. And then the middle finger, as it presses in together, all you feel is that middle finger. And so those of you who know the precerts in Japanese may join in with me. Others may simply choose to listen. And again, I'm going to take 5 minutes for this. Kiyodaki wa ikuhruna shinpai suna kanshitashite gyo hagiman hento ni shinsatsu ni Kiyodaki wa ikuhruna shinpai suna kanshitashite gyo hagiman Hento ni Shinsatsuni. Kyo Jakiwa. Ikahruna. Shinpai Suna. Kanstashte. Gyo Hageman. Hento ni Shinsatsuni. Kyo Jakiwa. Ikahruna. Shinpai Suna. Kanstashte. Gyo Hageman. Hento ni Shinsatsuni. If your mind wanders or comes to thought, push the two middle fingers together. Come back to the breath. Gently becoming aware of the breath. Gently wiggling our fingers and toes. Again, stretch the arms up over. Bring the arms all the way out and around, back behind. Look up to the ceiling. Open and close the mouth. Close the mouth and swallow. Coming back to center. Now, one of my yoga books talks about in meditating that to start meditating, you light a candle. And depending on where you are, we have the tea light candle that we use in the gyms. But at home or in my own space, I like using a real candle. The flame is alive. It's life force. So in the yoga book, it says you look at the flame and you memorize the flame. Notice the wick, and then there's that blue light that's right next to the wick. And then there's that space where there's almost clear. And then there's one shade of yellow that comes up in the middle of the flame. And then that orange. And sometimes you get a flame that has some smoke coming off of it. Sometimes the flame comes up. Sometimes the flame will bring and come back down. And the flame, obviously being alive, is responding to the Reiki energy, which is life force. So maybe if you don't have a candle at home, I'm trying to think of how I can bring the candle closer. Maybe you can zoom in on me and just gently stare at this candle with me for a full minute and memorizing that flame and all of the different parts of it. And notice if the wick is laying over, it's going to look one way, or if the wick is straight up in the air, it's going to look another way. Keep your tail away from there, baby. Okay, now after you've stared at this, close your eyes. And I've done this in some yoga classes in Savasana. Now, in your mind's eye, envision the flame of the candle, seeing the wick in the middle, and then the blue flame, and then the orange flame, the light orange flame, and then the deep orange, yellow, and the smoke maybe that wisps off the top, or maybe that doesn't. Now open your eye, and with what you were seeing in your mind's eye, does that match up with what you're seeing in the candle? Okay, great big stretch. Maybe you stand up, reach the hands all the way up, and then we're going to lay down in Savasana so that you get nice and comfortable. Maybe you cover yourself up with your blanket. Use your sofa cushion for your head. And so many people, when you say meditation, immediately go to what's called a guided meditation, where the person facilitates, and as you close your eyes, you go on this gentle journey in your mind's eye in meditation. And so that's what you're focusing on. And in focusing on that, that keeps all of your other thoughts out of your head. So in that way, bringing yourself gently out onto the mat. And in this guided meditation, we're going to the beach. So gently lay down, sit, prop yourself, find yourself in a comfortable position. Maybe going back to that 4-count breath, 4-count inhale, 4-count exhale. Maybe if your breath is a little longer, you can do an 8-count inhale and an 8-count exhale, depending on how long you've been practicing, how deep the breath is. Gently feel every muscle in the body melt. Become completely at ease. The muscles are soft. Now taking our eyes and looking up into our third eye. Envisioning ourselves in our mind's eye at the street, stepping onto the path, walking through the dunes to get to the beach. And the path that we're walking on is firm, and maybe you have your flip-flops or your shoes on, so the walking is pretty easy. And on either side are the dunes and the dune grass and, the corrugated brown fence. But as you're walking down the path, you feel the breeze on your face, and you can smell the salt air. There's something about smelling the salt in the air that is very calming. And as you're smelling the salt air, you're feeling the warm rays of the sun on your skin. And walking down the dune path. And as you're walking, all of a sudden the sand starts to get soft. And you feel the warmth of the sand creeping around into your shoes, so you just take your shoes off. And it's warm, but it's comfortable on the feet. And as you're walking through the soft sand, feeling the movement in the calves as you're walking through that soft sand, and feeling it come through your toes. And maybe hearing the seagulls or seeing them fly overhead. The sky is crystal clear, azure blue. Beautiful white puffy clouds. And as you walk towards the water, the sand becomes wet but still soft, so you come a little bit closer to the water where the sand is firm under your feet and cool, but it feels good. And you turn so that the ocean is to your left side, and you're hearing the waves in your left ear. And every once in a while, a wave will come up and you'll feel the salt water come over your feet as you're walking down the beach. And maybe you feel some spray and you even taste the salt water in your mouth. And then gently as you continue along. Maybe you find a conch shell. So when you pick up the conch shell and put it up next to your right ear, you're hearing the ocean from the conch shell in your right ear and the ocean from the waves that are coming in next to your left ear. And then you put the conch shell into your basket or your backpack and continue walking along. And maybe you see the sandpipers running up and down with the waves, playing poison. They never seem to get caught in the waves because they run back. And you look down and you see a starfish. It's not moving. So you pick up the starfish and put it into your basket. And continue along. And maybe you find a sand dollar. And as you pick up the sand dollar, with its 5-pointed star on the surface, and you go to put it into your basket, it breaks open and all of these beautiful white doves come out of the sand dollar. And they fly away from you. And then you sit down on a piece of driftwood and rest for a moment. Take a drink from your canteen and refresh yourself. Maybe you eat a peach or some grapes and you taste that wonderful sweet juiciness of the fruit and it revives you. And then you walk back down to the beach, wash the hands off in the water. And now the ocean is to your right side as you're walking back along the path, headed back towards the path where the dunes are. And as you're walking along in the ocean, maybe you reach down and you pick up a clamshell. It's a good sized clamshell that you could put some smaller shells in and use as the decoration to remember this peaceful walk on the beach. So you put that into your basket too. And continue walking in the firm sand until you see the entrance to the dunes. And then when you find the entrance to the dunes, you leave the hard sand and you're walking through that soft, wet sand. The seagulls are still flying overhead, but you don't have anything to feed them, so they don't bother you. And then as you walk into the warm sand, feeling the intensity of the walking increasing. And then as you get close to the path, all of a sudden you feel the firmness of the path of walking through the dunes. And walking back through the dune path, walking back to the street, And as you step off of the dune path, you're stepping back into your body, back into this, here, and now. And after you step back into this, here, and now, gently wiggling your fingers, becoming aware of the breath, inhaling, reaching the arms up overhead, bringing our knees into our chest, giving ourselves a hug. Gently rolling over onto the right side, pausing and thanking ourselves for our practice. Gently pushing ourselves up, one vertebrae at a time, coming into our easy cross-legged position, or legs out in front wherever you are tonight, bringing our hands to heart center. May the light within me salute the light within you. And when we are at this place, we are truly all the same. Namaste. Please give me feedback about your favorite kind of meditation and what meditation you would like to do more of. Be happy, safe, and healthy until we meet again. Tomorrow night is Saturday. We'll be doing a moving practice, probably a gentle flow. And Sunday will be gentle restore. And let me know if you would like another guided meditation at the end of the gentle restore. Thank you, and good to see you all. Gary, Laura, thank you. Dorothy, Ethel, thank you. Chalise, Jason, good to see you. Cynthia, good to see you. Happy Friday. Cynthia, good to see you. Nina, good to see you. Renata, good to see you. Sharon, good to see you. Donald, good to see you. Joyce. Kurt, good to see you. Kimberly, good to see you. Evelyn. Debbie Lou, good to see you. Patty, good to see you. I know the boys were here with their flashlights. Yes, the rosary is a very good meditation. Thank you. Cindy, thank you. Cynthia. And anyone else, please chime in with your comments. Be happy, safe, and healthy until we meet again. Oops, I put an extra E in. Thank you. Good night.